So we just got finished talking about arm drift or arm runoff, making a better turn in the backswing so we're in a better position to start the downswing. One thing we noticed the other night doing some stuff with Swing Cat, trying to like put more ground force into it, you were trying to get me to get much lower and squat so I could push up.
Yes.
And so I could sort of do that, but one issue was that because my hands really dominate the first motion, I was literally like almost sticking the club in the ground.
Totally. So your best attempts in actually exaggerating it, where you were doing the right things,
were duffs.
Produced like the worst results. From a contact standpoint, which is totally fair. So which is why like we always say, oh, you gotta make sure the rest of your swing is in order before you try to create speed.
That's kind of what we talked about last night. So I think what it makes sense now is take a little kind of a break from that sort of ground force stuff so that I can get the sequencing of my body back.
Yes.
So the hands aren't so low and ahead of my, I guess, rotation. And then I'm able to actually make this motion.
Totally.
Does that make sense? So just so people are clear, this is kind of what we're talking about. So like I'll get up to the top. And I'll kind of...
So you squat down low to load the squat. But then your hands rush way down as well.
Yeah, so I'm almost like here.
Correct.
And then I have to kind of save it.
Correct.
So
but you can't because you're so used to lowering your hands and club with just your arms and hands.
Just arms pulling,
Exactly. Now that we're adding another variable to it, it's too many things going down.
Makes sense.
But we want to remove the arm and hand lowering.
So we want something where the arms and hands really are not the first thing you'll see move.
Correct.
You'll see the body unwinding and the hands kind of staying back.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. So the drill to do this, so stop it, go to the top of your backswing. Okay. So here's a drill I like to do this. If you guys have seen some of my videos, it's called the map out drill. So at the top, things look good. So squat and rotate to pelvis at the ball. Yep, so pelvis at the ball is when your pelvis is literally facing the ball. That's a good halfway point. And at this point, Matt's in a great job of keeping his arms up because usually his arms are already down here.
Usually I'm like here.
Exactly. So from here, arms good. Then there, I want you to just let go of your angles just to get that width back. Release your angles fully to your end range. Good. So at arm parallel, you can actually lower just a little bit. So that's actually really good there. At this checkpoint for this drill, pelvis at the ball, arm parallel to the ground is what we want. And you let go of your wrist angles just so you have maintained the width. Because if you have all your angles and all you do is turn, the club will never get to the ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
because the club has never bottomed out.
In full speed, your angles would naturally be coming out as you rotate.
In full speed, the club will kick out. At stopping speed at the drill, you have to be the one that actually inputs that command.
Makes sense.
Good, so squat and rotate to pelvis at the ball. Perfect, then you release your wrist angles. Hold it. So from here, all I want you to do is push and turn through the ball and just chip through the ball first. Just isolate the legs, no arms. Good, really good.
Am I still pushing down from where I am, or am I already down?
Yes, great question, great question. So in reality, like in the full one motion swing, you're not going to stop like that.
Of course.
So what you do is from the top, you squat and rotate, and you react back up.
Yes.
So roughly, we use pelvis at the ball as roughly the halfway point.
Okay.
Where you squat and rotate, and you react back up.
So once I've reached the point where I had stopped, I'm really just pushing up and through?
Yes, but because we stopped for this drill, you will have a little bit more of a slight down and up to bounce you back up.
Just to initiate the motion.
Exactly. But then one motion is just one motion.
Understood.
Where it's down and up. Perfect. And then, good. Yep, and then, good. So we watch this. You do a great job of isolating the legs. Right. See how you're actually pushing and turning through the shot?
And so what it really delivers like a very extreme version of what you want impact to look like.
Exactly.
Where your entire lower body is like facing the target.
Exactly. Your butt cheeks, the entire back is visible from the down the line view.
Yeah.
Now when you go full speed in your game, sure, you're not going to get that rotated, which is fine. But always in drill, we want to exaggerate the most. So step one, you squat and rotate. That's the first dot. Step two, you down hinge fully. And then step three, you just push and turn through the shot. Yes, good. So think of it as 3 dots. And eventually, we're just going to connect the dots 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
So now, the reason why I lay this out like this is because that's the order of events at which we want things to happen in full speed. So now, as a second progression, so you can still stop at the top, Matt.
Okay.
And then try to connect the dots 1, 2, 3, where you squat and rotate, you release the angles, and you push back up. Exactly. Good. And these drill speeds may look very exaggerated on some of the wrist ends.
Yeah.
The wrist end stuff. But when you game, you're not going to look like that.
No,
but
of
for the
course.
purpose of the drill, to isolate the arms not pulling down, we do this.
Because I'm thinking, like, say you did this drill, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're sort of feeling here,
Uh-huh.
and then you go, you know, like, leave your arms here,
Uh-huh.
and then try to go like this.
Uh-huh.
It's like, I can see how there's no way you could actually make contact.
Yep. Good. Yes. Exactly. That's the idea. That's
Okay.
the idea. And then eventually you just piece things together.
So let's try a piece together one.
Yep. That's a good attempt, Matt. That's a really good first attempt. That feel different?
Definitely felt different, yeah.
That's a really good first
Arms
attempt.
felt a lot more passive there.
Yes, yes. And that's exactly what we want. Closer. Better, better. And one thing to note is we're running through this drill just for a demonstration's sake.
Yeah,
Realistically, you're going to have to probably do the first progression for a little bit.
definitely. I would go to the
Before
range
bringing-
and many times, just
Exactly,
working on
yeah.
the backswing.
Exactly.
And then from there, I would start doing the drill that we talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Better.
Okay, cool.
That was definitely better. Makes sense?
It definitely makes sense. So in summary, we're really looking for, it's almost like you need to exaggerate the feeling of the arms doing nothing because they're
Totally.
doing too much. So because my natural progression is sort of like this,
Yes.
getting down,
Yes.
I have to almost feel like nothing moves here at all,
Uh-huh.
while this completely
Yes,
moves the other way.
exactly.
And so that's why the drill is so extreme. You're here.
Exactly.
mean, really the
literally
goal-
doing max body, max
Yeah.
legs, max body, minimal arms.
Yeah.
So that when you go play, sure, maybe some arms, but at least you'll have some body and some legs
body
to
and
it as
some legs.
well.
Right. And so
Yeah.
then as I work on this, hopefully I'll start to be in a better position starting the transition.
Totally.
Arms won't be so low and kind of like I won't have to
Exactly.
freeze my body. And then we can
Exactly.
start talking about some ground force
Actually
stuff.
pushing harder and harder.
Okay.
So for this drill, at the end of the day, if you're really good at this drill, from here, if we just go softly initially, just see how soft I push through that, but my arm stuck to my body.
Yeah.
Eventually, if you get really good at that drill, it's really just isolating this, where from here, then we start pushing
Yeah,
harder
hard.
and harder. But you see my arms never change positions.
And so
That's-
you're really
that's the
retraining
goal.
yourself not to create speed with hands and arms.
Correct.
You're training yourself to create speed really with like
Correct.
the lower body first.
Exactly, exactly. And you're not going to get it all at once, but if you get more of this, less of this, even though you don't perfect it, it's still going to be beneficial to most of you guys who are watching when you go practice and
Yeah,
play.
totally. Okay, so I got lots of work to do on my swing. I'm going to work on that backswing thing we talked about.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to
number
work
one.
on this sequencing thing quite a bit, and then hopefully next time we get together, I'll have a chance to get that a little bit better spot,
Totally,
and we can
totally.
hopefully work on the plates
Yeah, and
again.
and I really do think as your backswing spot gets better, it will start positively influence
Everything
some of
else.
these things as well.
Totally makes sense. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have questions down in the comments. Either myself or Larry can get back to you
Yeah.
with some tips. Thanks.